Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
And just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast. What's up, man?
The place where you can hear a bunch of, like, were you trying to remember it and then did you kind of forget?
No, I was just stopping abruptly because I thought that it would be stupid if I did go, even though I didn't. I don't remember.
You should have some more confidence in yourself. I believed in you. I thought that was a good bit.
Yeah, I just ate a bunch of food and I'm like in this coma at my house.
Oh shit, I just did, and I just woke up.
Oh, nice. What was your poison? What knocked you out?
My coma?
Your food coma. What gave you the itis?
It was cholera. Yeah. But a good Blaze pizza just went ahead and knocked me out of that.
Oh.
So they should put that on the poster.
Yeah. Did you get the vegan pizza? The what are they called? The vegan
I like
pizza?
food with flavor.
You like something? Right on. Oh, pizza sounds so fucking bomb. The one thing that can just win me over, like, in anything else, like, is pizza.
That's how I got you to start doing this podcast.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was like, yo, come upstairs, we'll hit record, we'll eat some pizza, we'll see how it goes.
So what is going on in the world today, Phil? Because it's just crazy everywhere you go. There's just all this weird shit happening, like Game of Thrones just, like, went into some, like, weird vortex where, like, the whole season's terrible. But yeah, you still have people, like, defending it.
Well, I mean, the last couple of seasons were terrible. I have not really had faith since season 6, but yeah, this one is just extra cherry on top terrible. And I'm glad people are starting to finally come around and see my side of things, you know.
So you've been anti this.
It is frustrating to see people are like, oh, we need to, seeing that petition that's got like 500,000 signatures, but people who want them to just redo the whole season. And I'm like, shut up, crybabies.
Wow.
And I guarantee you, like 40% of them like didn't even vote.
That is.
But they got enough time to get all upset about this shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but
But
that being said, this is one of the few episodes that I actually liked, even though I thought it was completely unearned. I thought the actual content of it was interesting. I do like that as a narrative choice for her to go full Dragon Hitler. But
sure. But without like
they didn't really set it up at all. It was just kind of out of nowhere.
Right.
And I'm starting to realize that they definitely are that, like, after the show moment is completely a crutch.
Yeah, because if it weren't for them explaining, like, the fact that it was the Red Keep, that, the site of the Red Keep that, like, drew her mad because of this and that, like, nobody would have, like, picked up on that, even if you've been following the story so closely. Like, there wasn't that much, like, emphasis on it. It was just kind of like, oh, well, she's looking at it and let's explain it later on. And then that way you get all these people who want to defend it by, it's like, yeah, but you had to watch the fucking, commentary at the end with these writers having to explain their bonehead, fucking moves.
That means it's a bad show.
Yeah.
If you have to if the author of a book had to fucking write a bunch of, like, addendums after the book, like, that came out after it's published, and explain themselves and some of their choices, it's like, oh, maybe if it was that difficult, there wasn't a lot to be mined there.
Right.
And even in the previously on, they had to just go and pull a bunch of clips, like, pull and, like, put voiceover over their thing to try to explain their choices. And I'm like, okay, that's a pretty fucking dead giveaway right there too. It's that they know that they didn't earn this shit.
Right.
And so she's just gonna do some really weird, out of character shit. And though it was fun, though I think it actually throws something interesting into the mix, I'm still like, yeah, well, I don't trust them for that shit. And you know what I also just found out is that those two, Benioff and Weiss, they are signed on to do, I think it's a Star Wars movie or something like that.
Wait, who?
David Benioff and B.D. Weiss, or whatever their names are.
They're talking
the dudes who do Game of Thrones.
The writers?
Yeah.
They're doing a Star Wars flick?
I believe so. I think it was just announced.
Huh.
it was well, hold on, I can pull this. Yeah, Star Wars.
Interesting.
A trilogy of Star Wars movies.
Oh wow.
It's the first one after the end of this trilogy. So the end of 9, 10, how many fucking movies have there been? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Whatever. After the Rise of Skywalker, whatever the next one is, that's gonna be those two apparently.
Well, guess what I saw last night? I finally got around to going and checking out the Avengers Endgame, and that was a way to close off something right there. That was the proper way to go out.
Jesus Christ. Well, we are beyond spoiler territory here. So I will give anybody a heads up there, but it's been a few weeks, all right? You're done. All right? That's it.
Yeah.
So we're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was, definitely just, I'm not going to go too much into detail of stuff, but it's definitely the best way to end it. I thought, I was actually quite surprised, minus a few just things that you're not going to avoid with a Marvel movie, like just cheesy, shots of them looking out the window and reflecting on something and telling the whole room their story, but they're not even facing them, just that kind of cheesy, movie stuff. Other than that, everything else was so not as cheesy as every other, at least, Marvel, superhero movie.
I mean, they pretty to me. I thought it was a pretty expert weaving of all the different tones that you have come to expect from all those things, while keeping it really grounded in the the darkness of what actually was happening.
Yeah, and the fact that they with the Thor, just the whole comedic aspect and maintaining that with him, because they kind of been doing their research. You could tell with all of the later films and just seeing how people responded to them, and obviously with films like that, or Ant-Man, or more of the comedic thing, it does work in there really well. Guardians of the Galaxy, but with the Ragnarok, that Thor movie was just a pure just comedy movie, and that's what that wasn't Deadpool.
I'm so happy they handed all that stuff off to Taika Waititi, and now his version is the one.
Yeah, yeah, and so it definitely had all of that, and making Bruce Banner and the Hulk midway into this emo hipster guy, kind of buff guy.
Yeah, Professor Hulk is who that is in the comics, that version
Professor
of
Hulk.
But my favorite was, I saw somebody on I think it was Twitter or something like that. It's damn, Thanos beat his ass so hard he turned into an upstanding citizen. He beat an education into him.
Yeah.
I'm just God damn, that's fucking right.
And then how they just went back and tied together so many different things. They went back and to specific scenes of the older movies from the first, the first Avengers, and in different stuff. And they just was oh crap, the whole time travel thing was just pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much.
I thought that was a brilliant way to kind of have an homage to everything that had led up to that point.
Right.
The 10 years of movies, to go and revisit a lot of them.
Yeah.
At all these different points.
Yeah.
To have that, have some kind of, or at least some character, come in.
Exactly.
Down to the little kid from Iron Man 3 is at his funeral and shit.
Oh, see, I didn't pick up on that, but I mean, I just have to say that because I'm not into those kinds of movies generally. I did not like the first Avengers. I didn't even watch the second Avengers. I've seen, the first.
Oh, it was garbage. You didn't miss much.
Yeah, that's what I was told. But Infinity War was great, so it caught my eye, and I was I watched it at home, and I thought, well, this one's pretty good. Obviously, it leaves you wanting to know what the hell's going on. And so, the whole thing, I thought that, it was very appropriate for a comic book, for comic books to the way that they portrayed it on screen was, just the way that you would expect it. And not to keep going back to Game of Thrones, but when for the people who defend it, I just accept it for what it is. And I said, oh yeah, I do. A disappointment, because you invested. And I mean, I still even liked it all the way up until, this season. I thought that there was a lot left open for something more exciting,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Even with all the holes and the plots and stuff like that, somebody else was just kind of explaining to me all the reasons why it was a great episode and why it was so poetic and this and that. And I'm just yeah, but the average person is not going to go back and really read or read into these things, these little tiny things, when they're just big things that, both the readers and just the simple viewers should be able to, just get from you guys, because and you're like just leaving shit out, and you're just like rushing through things. It's like, well, what about this? Well, wait, whatever happened to that? Like, what the fuck? There's just a bunch of stuff that now just kind of like, well, what was the whole point of this? Did you guys just write that on the spot just in case like you could ever use it later and forgot about it? What the hell happened?
It really felt like that, and it still continues to feel like that. So I don't know what exactly they're going to wrap up with like this last episode. I don't think it's going to be able to completely redeem it, but
So are we able to give predictions like in of what you think might happen? Is that too?
I think they all collectively decide that this whole monarchy thing isn't working, and they delve into a glorious no. They start up Western democracy. There you go. That's what I think is going to happen. And they're going to elect Tyrion, and then he is going to, like Pope Francis or whatever, he was like going to just say, fuck this throne. It represents a bunch of shit that we don't need. I'm a man of the people. And then, yeah. And then you smash cut to Donald Trump, and actually Game of Thrones this whole time was just a super, super prequel to Earth.
Oh my gosh. So there's, the theory now that, since Arya killed the Night King, that she's the one with the true power, not Jon. She's the one to save the world. And that she's also going to kill Daenerys in this next episode. Because I felt like that might be one of the reasons why they had it focused on her running through the town, kind of like leading up to her getting to Daenerys somehow. I don't know. That's just one way it could go, with something with Arya doing some shit that's big. Somebody else, brought up this other theory today about it. She could see that, Daenerys, after destroying the city, goes and tries to, execute Tyrion because he like disagrees with her on, obviously what's going down, and the dragons won't.
And he freed that prisoner.
And the dragon,
who didn't help at all.
Right. And the dragon doesn't do anything to him because there was, I don't know if you've ever heard the theory that they think that that Tyrion's actually a Targaryen and not a Lannister, and that's why like
Targaryen?
Huh?
Targaryen?
Not
It was a lazy portmanteau of Tyrion and Targaryen.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they thought that maybe that's why Cersei and like the family just treated him like shit and hated him, because they knew that he wasn't one of theirs and actually probably a more rightful heir to the throne. And I guess there was the whole scene where he went down into the dungeon with the dragons, remember? And he went up to them all scared, but like they didn't do anything to him. Like they kind of like recognized him as something else maybe. And so like, what if it flipped around and he ended up like taking over and because there's got to be something more with Tyrion. Like, I don't know.
I mean, basically every road that this leads down sounds kind of disappointing and kind of stupid.
Oh man.
Like they've really kind of painted themselves into the trap where I really don't think there's a winning scenario here. So I like that one. I think that's as good as any.
Well, I think, yeah, we definitely just have to check it out and see where it goes.
I'm just still so frustrated that just like Bran was completely inconsequential to everything involved.
Right.
There was no magic. There was no nothing. Nothing he did helped. And we spent like a whole season setting all that shit up.
I felt like it was just a
just
distraction,
like,
a way to keep people like interested, to draw you in. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan thing where you like do this really like dark, ominous thing that like definitely opens up the doors to your imagination and makes you think of the possibilities of all these things. And then you just don't.
But then it's also an M. Night Shyamalan
movie. Right. And I love M. Night Shyamalan movies. I'm shamelessly admitting that I love like the plot holes or like the weird plot twists that take place in his films. But you know what you're getting. You don't watch like a whole 6 to 7 seasons of, you know, Tarantino and
It's the
then
plants,
just like
guys.
get
They're making us kill ourselves.
you know, get Tarantino or like Coen Brothers for those many seasons, and then you got M. Night Shyamalan for like the last season.
Yeah. Oh man.
But
yeah, art sucks.
so yeah,
I think that's the point that we're making.
yeah, we don't really need to keep on this because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there rolling their eyes that there are plenty more important things going on in the world than what's going on in Game of Thrones, right?
Well, yeah, we can speed through it because it is mighty depressing. And things are just developing rapidly right now. So, you know, I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it, even though things are fucking awful right now. Specifically, telling people to be aware of all the abortion bans that are going on right now.
Right.
Like they are just ramming through these insane abortion laws in all these super red states in the country. And I think the idea is for them to get challenged in court, which they obviously will. And those challenges to keep getting kicked up, up levels in the court. So they've been, this has basically been their strategy since like the 70s or 80s, is that they've been court packing this whole time, especially under this administration. They have fast track judges that's at this like unprecedented level. And I don't know why the Democrats didn't do a goddamn thing about trying to stall them, like all of our judges were stalled. You know, just like how Obama didn't get his last Supreme Court pick, and everybody was so confident that Hillary was going to win that the Supreme Court, when she lost, then that Supreme Court pick went to Trump, and then there's kind of a lot of shady stuff around the departure of former Chief Justice Kennedy, and so now. No, not Chief Justice, but anyways. And then they just shoved, Judge Beer Pong on there. So what they're trying to do, what the strategy is they're going to keep challenging these laws before they go into effect, and it's going to keep going up to higher and higher courts until it gets ultimately to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court rules in favor of Alabama, who just passed this law yesterday, that's the one everybody's talking about, then that would make it legal and thus kind of nullify Roe v. Wade and make abortion illegal again in this country. And so, yeah, we got some pretty serious shit to watch out for. So, I mean, it's a pretty good strategy on their part because there's not a lot of recourse for this, other than trying to gin up like impeachment charges to impeach, part of the Supreme Court or something. Donate to the ACLU and listen to people who are smarter than me. I haven't read any kind of big strategy things yet to kind of have a plan of action. So that's why I didn't want to dwell too long about it. But stay woke because they're also trying to get us into war with Iran. So that's a fun little thing that's also going on here. John Bolton's trying to basically in the same way that they were doing Iraq. You know how everybody's saying, "Oh, weapons of mass destruction," and they were going around grabbing all the intel they could so that they could sell the country on this war with Iraq. And then we found out, oh, all of it's bullshit. Y'all just wanted to go to war with Iraq. It's happening again, almost in the exact same fashion with a lot of the same players trying to get us into war with Iran. So keep an eye out for that. Don't buy it. And I think I'm going to leave it at that because those are the two things that I think needed to be said. But, we also don't need to talk about it too much when there's still so much developing around this stuff. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Dope. Well, did you do anything dope the last week since I've seen you? I know that you didn't really want to talk about your birthday last week and what you did.
And that is still happening.
Oh, damn.
So,
gonna keep badgering you.
Yeah, nice try, though. Nice try. I'm on to your tricks, which... well, I was in San Francisco on Monday.
How'd that go?
To preview some new Rainbow Six content. It's looking pretty sweet out there. I still suck at that game, so that's cool.
All right.
And then otherwise, I've just not been having a lot of fun fucking trying to deal with the washer situation at my house, where a washer was backing up, and then it fucked up all the baseboards and wood, and then it was still backing up, and then it touched some live wires, and there was like some smoke going on. Then we had to shut the breakers off, and it's been a whole fucking thing. And nobody really wants to hear me complain about that shit, but that's been the banging my head against the wall fucking project of this week while I'm trying to stay afloat and keep all my other work together.
Right on, right on. Well,
Yeah,
that's
not quite as fun as LIB like I was saying, or quite as fun as you know, Mutate or Art in the
well,
Park
lightning in a bottle.
are shaping up to be this
A good
weekend.
thing about lightning in a bottle, we went through it. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Kind of just going over what certain possibilities like were being thrown around out there that it could have gotten shut down, and I was really glad to hear that it wasn't even anywhere like that. I mean, there were cops present, but like from what I was told by friends working, that they were told by the Do Lab that there were no undercover cops, so it wasn't like this shady thing. Though it's funny because I was hearing of stories of people like swearing that people that they're partying with are undercover cops or were undercover cops, and I was like, no, you were probably just really high, and they were probably just really high, and you guys were really paranoid and tripping out about something.
Damn, they just inject that like that mental that those mind games. It's like the thing,
Yeah, and
where they're all just like, no, wait, we gotta like test his blood. Maybe he's an undercover cop. See how he reacts to fire.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it happened to me at Lightning in a Bottle a couple of years ago. But to be fair to me, the guy was asking some really narky questions, and the situation was just really insane. Plus, me.
Is that the time you thought you were getting punked or something?
Yeah, like I thought I was getting punked, like by this dude. At first, I thought he was like narking, or I couldn't tell if it was like him being a narc or if it was like him punking me, because like I felt that his buddy was walking off in the distance, not too far away though, kind of like pacing.
So at that point, punked had still not been a thing for like 10 years.
Right, not like punked, but some sort of
Yeah.
practical joke show where people are at like a festival
Yeah.
and they're kind of playing undercover and doing some weird shit. But again, this is on a head full of stuff that would make you think something like that too. So it was a little bit of both ways. Anyway, I'm glad to hear that the festival did not have any of that kind of stuff going on.
Me too. Yeah.
And it was apparently just a beautiful location. Apparently beautiful and easy enough to sneak into, because I knew a couple of our friends who actually made it across into there, and had a great time. Two very unsuspecting people I'm not going to go ahead and mention on here, but I would have never assumed, I wouldn't have assumed that they would have done that. Anyway,
well, good on them.
I'm glad that I'm glad to go next year and check it out, because it looks like a really rad spot.
Yeah, I think I might too. If it was like not a bus, that's kind of cool, and it's closer.
Yeah,
that's like a huge selling point for me. Is it's not a 6-hour drive.
Exactly. I was told it was only like an hour and a half outside of LA, so just really not bad at all.
Takes a long to get to work.
If I hadn't have had the craziest busiest weekend, I would have tried. Like if I would have been off on Sunday like I normally am, on most days or whatever, I would have tried to just go Saturday night and stay for like Sunday, because that's a whole basically a full day and a half of being there, because Monday it's still people there leaving and everything. Anyway, my weekend was crazy. Like
then your next weekend's shaping to be pretty crazy too,
well,
right?
this upcoming weekend's going to be crazy. I have we moved Mutate from Saturday to Friday, so tomorrow it is going to be at Catch One, which formerly known as Union in LA, off Pico, and it is gonna be fucking dope as fuck. We've got Sticky Buds, we got Star Fox, we've got fucking two guys on acid. That's literally their name. But it's yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyways, just come check it out. If you haven't been there, you haven't seen it, it's fucking rad. I'm gonna be part of it once again. Gonna be releasing a promo video today that's gonna be pretty funny for it. And then let's see what else. This Sunday, Art in the Park. We have Go With The Flow, Art in the Parks. Come decompress from Lightning in a Bottle, Desert Hearts, or just your crazy work week. Get your butt out there and just let it flow. We're not this weekend, it's not going to be focused on anything else other than just being in the moment and just coming out there and allowing yourself to express yourself however it just comes to you right then and there. and to just spend the day with people outside. Hopefully it doesn't rain, but we'll be there. Come check us out, Peak Park, Buena Park. And I think that is all I have for right now.
Yeah, that's what we've been gearing up for, man.
Yeah.
That sounds dope. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, it's been saying like it said 40% chance of rain, but I feel like every forecast that I've seen, because there've been plenty for rain in the past few weeks, and I think it only rained like once for like 2 minutes, so more of a drizzle.
That is true.
Yeah. But the June gloom, man, it's definitely a lot earlier each year. Like I feel like it, arrives late April through all of May, and then by June it's already freaking, summer on Mars and shit. Or
I don't even go by those like old markers anymore. I'm just like, yo, climate change, none of it matters. we gotta fucking it's gonna get hot in December and cold in August now, and so who knows? Every day is a new adventure. I'm just like, what do I put on today? Pants? Nope. I'm just sweating for the rest of the day. Like,
nice.
Take it as it comes.
Today you did that? Dang.
Oh, I'm saying. Oh no, today was kind of cold.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, today I think I was wearing shorts in the morning. I was like, wait, this is a bad idea.
Yeah. I don't know.
I have to think about it now every day. It's bullshit.
Right. Well, so is there nothing else that you've got going on other than climate change and all this other stuff?
Nothing to plug.
No.
Nah.
Well.
Nah, nothing to promote right now. Hopefully some shit soon though.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than this little show that I like called Let It Bleed.
Yeah.
They got this social media at Let It Bleed Cast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's pretty well checking out. Remind people to subscribe and to get this show into their ear holes every Thursday. And myself, I'm if you want to watch my daily meltdowns, you can follow me on Twitter at Phil Nobody Cares, or on Instagram where I have been doing fucking nothing for about a month or so at Nobody Cares Phil.
There you go. Well, then you can find me at on Instagram at hoodratstuff with 3 Fs. Follow the Psychedelic Lions Den, psychedelic_lions_den. And just keep up. Art in the Park this weekend. Can't wait to see you guys all there. Also, Mutate Friday tomorrow. We'll see you there as well. Tomorrow. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. And, we're going to be having another guest for you guys to listen to, so you don't just have to listen to us the whole time. We're here really soon. But we're glad that you guys are at least still checking in and saying what's up and listening to just our nonsense and our very highly, regarded movie opinions and shit too. So, yeah. Thanks. So thank you for checking in for the half-hour talk about drugs and Game of Thrones and how they relate together, how it's all connected. Yeah. It's all one. Yeah, definitely tune in for that shit. All right. Well, thanks a lot for listening, guys. As always, let it bleed.